I'm Caitlyn Smith.
Hey, we're King Calaway.
I'm Thomas Mack.
I'm Lindsay Ell.
Blast off to the music universe.
This episode of the Music Universe podcast is sponsored by Aroma Retail.
Both Buddy and I own and love their machines. I use their travel-sized diffuser, and it fills my whole apartment.
And Matt, their home unit can get your whole house smelling refreshed, and if you have a lot of pets like I do, you definitely need it. With some of your favorite fragrances from resort destinations around the world, there is definitely something for everyone.
Yeah, they have 90 fragrances available for diffusing as room and linen sprays. I know you might like that because the dogs and cats jump on the beds. There's candles and even wax melters. Those are fun.
Head over to aromaretail.com and use code MUSICUNI10 for 10% off your order.
And that is 10 on that 10. MUSICUNI10. Scent your space with Aroma Retail.
Buddy,
Yeah.
I'm Alex Miller, who we just had, described it as a holy moment when you walk through the artist entry, because I am here at the Grand Ole Opry, backstage, talking with the artists who are doing Sunday Morning Country. It's the 40th anniversary of Sunday Morning Country. So very honored to be here. I feel like this is the pinnacle of country music journalism to be back here. This is so cool.
And
So-
it's a wonderful way to wrap up CMA Fest coverage live from Nashville, where you've been all week.
I've been here all week, back and forth. Came to the Opry to see the show on Thursday night, and now I'm here backstage. And it's different to be back here when you're not on a tour. I was just looking for somebody, and I had to go in the dressing room hallways. I was looking to ask a question of somebody, and it's like, wow, I'm walking these halls because I need to, not because I'm on a tour.
Right.
You know, it's just so cool, and to be invited. Also, Alex signed this for you. I figure anybody I get here, I'll have them sign our nameplate for you, and then I have our card for me. So very cool to be back here. But we've had an incredible CMA Fest week. We've talked to a bunch of people.
The great way to wrap it is 4 exclusive interviews that you did over the weekend that we have not posted individually on social media. We've saved it for this show. Why don't you introduce them?
Yes, I'm so excited. First group, I heard about them 2018, 2019. They were opening for all the big stars on the stadium tours. They opened for Garth. King Calaway. They were blasting off, and unfortunately 2020 shut them down. But as their members explain, when 2021 hit and 2022, everything coming back full force, they were able to pick up right where they left off.
Okay, King Calaway, this is awesome. You guys have been all over country music, all over country news. Welcome to the Music Universe. First, I gotta ask you, I have a mic, don't worry about that. You can keep that. First, I gotta ask you, how was it last night at Nissan Stadium? What'd that feel like for you?
It was amazing. It was the most thrilling experience, walking out on stage, seeing Nissan Stadium just packed, and just being on stage with Zach Brown Band. It was like, what is life right now? It was incredible.
What did the crowd sound like? 50, 60, 70,000 strong? Or were your in-ears kind of muting that for you?
Well, no, we definitely heard them when we were walking out. It was really loud, and there was a lot of clapping and stuff like that. But then we got the reaction we wanted to. As soon as we started singing, the whole stadium kind of like got quiet, because the single that we just released, it's out today. It's like a slow ballad, so we really wanted to get people's attention, and we did.
Yes, tell us about that. Tell us about the ballad.
Yeah, it's called When I Get Home. It's a story about grace and forgiveness and redemption. I think anybody can relate to it. We're really proud of it.
What was the process like working on it? How long did it take you, and what was the production process?
It was really cool working with Zach because, obviously he's a massive artist, but we've never got to see the producer side of him. So it was really cool to dive into the lyrics and really get the emotion out of the song that we wanted.
That is great. You guys have opened for so many big names. You've exploded onto the scene. What has this rapid success felt like for you? Have you had a moment to catch your breath and take it all in and drink it in?
Yeah, it's interesting because we were starting to come up like 2019, early 2020, and then the pandemic happened, and then it kind of like put a halt like for everybody. So, but like coming back into it now, it's like it feels like we're just getting right back into it again, and it feels amazing. Like, just this community has been so welcoming to us, and we're just so thankful to have these opportunities.
What did you guys do during the pandemic to keep that connection with your fans? And
Yeah, so I was stuck back home in Gibraltar, so I was overseas, and so we found that one of the only ways to kind of keep things going was we would do these videos called the King Calaway House Band series, where we were like the session band, and we were inviting our artist friends to join us. So Lauren Elena, Jimmy Allen, we even did one with Darius Rucker for CMA Fest actually. So they would hop on and they'd take the lead vocals and we would just kind of play, and Chad would do all the video editing, and that was kind of our way of trying to connect with the fans and just bring some entertainment to people in the homes as well, while we were all just stuck kind of doing nothing.
I became an iMovie expert during that time, so many hours. So.
yeah. Would you guys play together on Zoom? Would you try that, or would it be too out of sync?
Yeah, that just isn't. That's just
wouldn't work.
next pandemic. We'll see
Yes.
if they fixed it.
No, it's like I've been saying all week. It was a terrible time, but also a time for artists to kind of just be with their craft. And I'm glad you guys got to pick right up where you left off. Make sure to download that new single. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The next one, I am going to let you intro because you just love her. I love her too.
Yeah.
I had the chance to interview her, see her perform live at the Country Music Hall of Fame. I got to tell you, she wrote Garth Brooks' Tacoma. Her version is better. Tell us about Caitlyn.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, she's just become a superstar over the last couple of years. She kind of started taking off when the pandemic hit as well. We had the honor to see her ahead of the CMT Awards in April at the CMT Ram Jam. Just absolutely loved her. I know you enjoyed chatting with her. It's Caitlyn Smith now on the Music Universe podcast.
All right, Music Universe readers, fans. When I tell you, I have been so excited for this interview all week when I found out we were going to get to talk with the one, the only, I have to do it again like I did yesterday. I bow down to you, Caitlyn Smith.
So sweet.
Oh my gosh. I saw you at CMT Ram Jam.
Oh, yes.
And
Ram Jam. That was so much fun.
Instantly a fan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Contact High. I was listening to it while the plane was landing 3 days ago. I mean,
my gosh.
You are such an incredible singer, incredible songwriter. I have to know, when you start out with a song, what's the inspiration? What do you look for? Is it a turn of phrase? Is it a moment? Is it a feeling? When you're starting to write, what sparks for you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's different every time. Most of the time, I will start with a title or a phrase, and then kind of think about how that feels, how that hits me, and craft the music around whatever that phrase is. Sometimes, though, I'll just be sitting in traffic and I'll get a melody idea and have to sing it into my phone. And so sometimes it's the opposite thing where it's like, oh, what is this? What is this melody? It feels really sad. And so, yeah, it really depends on the day. But I like to try, when I find a phrase, make sure I can get to whatever the guts of that is. I want to feel to the utmost whatever that is. So
I love it. I love it. And when you get to it, is it lyrical? Is it musical?
both. I mean, I think the best songs match. They meet right there, right? And so when the melody is able to really facilitate the perfect lyric, it's a perfect song right there, right? So, yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about, I did not know this until I saw you live. You wrote a song called Tacoma, and a tiny little sort of unknown artist named Garth Brooks picked it up. First of all, before we talk about Garth picking it up, I want to know the process of writing it. And I always thought, listening to it in 2014 when I was living in New York, I would go, why Tacoma?
Yes.
So why Tacoma?
Why Tacoma? It's just so crazy. I was on my way to write with Bob DiPiero, who I wrote the song with, and I put the address on my phone, and my Apple Maps never works, right? Apple Maps took me, instead of to Music Row, it took me to Tacoma, and I was like, it's a great title. It's a cool title. I love how that word sounds. And the melody then hit me shortly after. I was like driving, hit the record button on my phone. I'm like, driving and like singing, and like the whole first verse just kind of fell out. And so that's why Tacoma. We actually then, I was like, Bob, nice to meet you. Here's this idea. We like pulled open the computer and then like mapped what it is to get to Tacoma, and we're like, what cities sing the best on the way to Tacoma? So we wrote the song with a map in front of us, which was pretty great. But
I love that. That's a cool image to have, writing it with the map.
Yeah.
That's so cool. When you're writing, how do you decide what song you want another artist to have versus like, nope, that's mine.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
keeping that one.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's gotten harder and harder. I love writing songs. Will write songs until the day that I die, right? And it is truly the highest honor when another artist comes to you, they've heard your song, and they love it so much that they want to have it be a part of their story, right? It's like Christmas. And so I'm generally under the idea of like, if an artist wants to record it, most of the time I'll just let them have it. There have been a couple songs that I've written in my years as a writer that I've know that it's so personal, it's so my story that I just don't show anyone. Songs like This Town Is Killing Me, where I'm just like, that's just my song. So, but generally, if another artist wants to record it, like, they can. It's great. And I don't mind just doing my own version if I love it a lot.
Because you're a killer live performer.
Thank you.
You're killer. Oh my gosh. And that is a rare combination with a songwriter. No disrespect to anyone who is making their millions just sitting there writing. Absolutely. Which
is a pretty awesome job.
It is so
Yeah.
you were the fiercest one up there that night.
Oh, thank you.
So let's get into CMA Fest and new music. What have you got coming out? What are the next projects for you?
Yes, well, actually, just this last week, I wrapped up the next part of my record. Bless you. The next part of my record. So I released High a couple months ago, and it will be followed up by And Low to make a complete High and Low project. And so, yeah, I just finished that up. I'm going to be touring a bunch this summer, a lot of festivals, and then we'll get back out on the road this fall as well on another tour. We're going to hit the UK. I get to open for George Strait at the end of the year, which will be so much fun.
Vegas.
Yep. It'll be so fun. So there's a lot.
Yeah, I heard you telling another outlet. What's that story there? How'd George find you and ask you to open?
I was asked to open for him I think was back in 2019.
Yeah.
And I opened a show for him in Gillette Stadium, and they somehow convinced him to come watch our show side stage, which was so nice. And so not only was I playing my first stadium ever,
wow,
but I have George Strait in my peripheral vision the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. But he watched our set, and then the very next day, like, he offered us a bunch more shows, the Vegas shows, and so he became a fan, which is just really so cool.
That is so cool when the people you looked up to
Yeah.
become fans of yours.
It's an out-of-body experience. It's really surreal.
So where can fans catch you this week, CMA Fest?
Yeah, this week. Well, I'm just about to, actually in a couple hours, I'm about to play the Dr. Pepper stage. I'm playing the Opry this evening. Tomorrow I've got a couple things, playing the songwriter series at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Doing a CMA close-up with Trisha Yearwood and Lauren Elena.
Wow.
So there's going to be a bunch of stuff. Check out at Caitlyn Smith, and
just follow her, because she's
the info will be on the internet.
We're going to clone her so that she can be in all these places at once.
That I would appreciate a clone. I've got like 2 kids. I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and sometimes I need that clone to just be there.
Oh my God. Well, keep us posted for when you're going to be in either Virginia so I can come see you, or Bakersfield so our founder can come see you, and it's going to be
done.
You're just awesome.
Oh,
you're a rock star.
Thank you. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat. I appreciate it.
Thank
Derek.
you. Awesome.
I'm going to make a bold claim. TikTok is the new Bluebird Cafe. What do I mean by that?
Oh,
It's
well,
where great songwriting is being discovered by the masses, because it's, as much as we love the labels and we love to work with the labels are signing their people off of what the fans are discovering on these social media platforms. And so there's a gentleman on TikTok that I absolutely just love. He works with Cooper Allen sometimes, and we've had Cooper on the show before. This gentleman's name is Thomas Mack. And when I tell you, I feel like I made a fast friend, that is the truth. I really feel like I made a friend in Thomas Mack. it was such a pleasure to get to talk to him. And he is, I think, our only guest on the podcast. We have some videos up, but he's the only guest who performs for us. We did this in the lobby of the media room just as things were closing. Almost got in trouble for it, but it was still fun. It's a 10-minute long interview. I think it's the longest interview we did because I truly enjoyed talking to him. And he said something really smart. I want to set up the kind of man you're going to be seeing. I said, hey, all these TikTokers at your level are getting signed. I said, are you signed? He said, no, I own all my stuff. So smart head on that man. Yeah. Very popular fan base, a great writer. Here's Thomas Mack.
Thomas Mack.
What's up?
I have to tell you, it is an honor to have you.
Oh.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. CMA Fest has been a blast. We got it off and running.
You got to perform.
That's right.
I assume your first time ever performing CMA Fest.
I've never even been.
Really?
Yeah. This is my first experience in general of it. Yeah, and it was insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. You just got done on the Spotlight stage.
Yeah. Spotlight stage.
Half-hour set, 15-minute set?
20-minute set.
20 minutes.
Quick spurts. We got a lot. There's a lot of artists to get in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I got to say, they were on a tight ship down there.
Yeah, they don't mess around on the Spotlight stage.
Yes, yes. So what songs did you do?
I did my latest single, I Love My Truck, which has been doing great. I did and my new single is going to be dropping on July 20th, If the World Was More Like a Bar.
Yeah.
A song about how I picture the world, and if the perfect world, that is. And I started thinking, I was like, man, if the world was more like a bar, maybe there'd be less problems, you know? Interesting thought, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. I'm noticing a trend with TikTokers, and we were kind of talking about this for the half hour it took me to set all this up.
Right.
That with TikTok stars, y'all prefer to kind of stay unsigned, or at least to have an arrangement where you're more in control than your typical label artist. Does that come from sort of being in control at the outset with social media?
That's on the nose a little bit. I think when you get a taste of being able to sell music and being able to sell tickets and just working your butt off on your own with that, all that type of stuff, you want to keep doing it. You want to keep having that. And it's nice. Like I was telling you earlier, I have complete control of what I put out when I want to put it out. I can do whatever I want with that. The creative control rests in my hands, which is beautiful.
So if you're in creative control, I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh, no.
You take
Picking bones with Matt.
You take too long. You teased I Love My Truck for, it felt like a year.
Oh, you're not the only one
It felt like a year. So if it was done.
Well, you got to understand.
You got to build it up. I know.
Well, also a lot of the teas those are demos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we tease a song and we realize that there's as much hype around it and people are loving it, we got to get a quick turnaround. We got to get in the studio, which takes a few weeks. Then we got to go back after we've tracked everything. We got to throw vocals on it. It's a process. So you're not the only one who's gotten on me about that. I wish I could snap my finger and the new song would be ready to go.
Now, one thing I talked to Cooper about this. Because, like I said, he was in the D.C. area. Right. We did an interview before that.
Cooper Allen, for the folks at home.
Cooper Allen. Hi, Cooper. I'm sure you're watching
Hey,
this.
Coop.
The goofball from the music site with the globe. It's me again. What surprises me the most about TikTok is that it doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Oh, very interesting. Let's dive in, man.
And you were talking about this earlier on the Spotlight stage.
Right.
Oh no, I'm invested in this because I'm sorry when I'm gonna kind of crap on some social media here for a second. When Instagram first came out, everybody was getting all these artificial followers, and you're not going to translate your bikini picture to ticket sales.
Maybe mine.
I
haven't posted one yet.
Please don't become a thirst-trapping country star.
Thirst trap Mac.
As it is, we're gonna get a little PG-13. You posted a video of you in your pajama pants, and I go and I read the comment section, and it's like, dude is just singing country music. Wrong app for this shit.
In my defense, I believe that video was outside of the tour bus, and
Yes,
I just
it was.
rolled out of my bunk, and I was like, I gotta post a video. I asked Nick, and tour manager Nick, I was like, record me doing this real quick, and I didn't even change. I was in my PJs. But the funny thing is, when you do funny stuff like that, comments make the algorithm go better. So when you get goofy comments about pajama pants, there's more people hearing the song you're promoting.
Yes, exactly. Well, that give and take.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Just I know I know a farmer who parodies that, and it has a hat that says "Only Farms." So give and take on the algorithm there.
I love that.
So anyway, back to the point I'm making is it really translates well. Everybody reacted really well to Cooper.
Oh yeah.
I went to see a gentleman. I don't know if you know who he is. Warren Ziders.
Very familiar with the Zidesters. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've never seen a crowd react.
Oh well, I mean that's rightly so.
With him.
He's amazing.
Now, I got to come see you live for comparison.
Yeah.
I have to.
Bring it out.
But
Warren is phenomenal. I mean,
I'm standing there at the Birchmere, and I'm like, from a fucking app. Like, are you kidding me?
It has that much power.
Yeah.
That's a great representation. Seeing a show like Warren's or Cooper's or Thomas Mack's, you get to see the level that, I mean, there's some artists in town that have been working forever and they haven't quite gotten that. And it's a blessing that we're all blessed to be able to have that. And a lot of people didn't think that social media would translate to tickets, and that's a big reason we go out, to prove all those people wrong, because we know they're ready to party with us, and they come out and we have a blast with them. It's amazing, but it is a blessing. I mean, it's.
And the other thing too, I love about you TikTok artists, Warren, Cooper, you have such a great drawl.
Oh man.
You're turning it back on its head. We're getting away from bro country. We're going back to something a little more traditional.
I appreciate that. I grew up on Cash and Willie and Waylon and Hank Williams Jr. and all. Those are my heroes. That's Merle Haggard. With George Strait. I mean, if it hadn't been for those songs, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be singing. It took hearing those songs to go, I want to write songs like that.
Yeah.
And so whatever I can do to kind of bring back the old feel and keep it alive, I'm trying to at least. So.
I love it. And I love my truck.
Man, thank you.
Come on.
I'm happy you dig that.
Let's dig inside that mind there for a second. Because we could talk about pajama pants all day.
It's a funny story,
but then you turn that kind of innuendo into a great song, really.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I do. The idea, I had the idea mapped out. The thought was, I'm going to be talking about a truck, but I'm going to make it sound like it's about a girl. So it was really fun to find all the things that a truck, like you could say about a truck. You ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
Things you can say about your truck, but you can't say about your wife.
Yeah.
And a lot of that mindset came from that. And I had the verse and chorus done, and then we were actually on the road. I was on the road with Cooper Allen and Alexander Kay, and I showed Coop what I had, and I was like, dude, will you let's try to write this bad boy. Let's finish this, because I loved it so much. And me and Coop sat down and we carved into it. We finished that song together.
I love it. I love that. Gosh, I could talk to you for hours, man. You are just so awesome.
You're awesome.
I love seeing a platform. I mean, people want to say what they're going to say about the Chinese, whatever. Okay. It's been bought. We're fine. You're fine to download it. Follow this guy. Go find a video where he plays I Love My Truck for his parents for the very first time.
That was a tough one. That was tough. Seeing the disappointment in Mama Bear's eyes. That was tough. That was tough. My dad was proud a little bit. That was strange. He was proud about that one.
Well, boys will be boys, I guess. But so that was completely legit. That wasn't staged. Yeah. That was legit.
Yeah, man. I'm always like, it's always weird to ask. Just don't imagine the camera's not on you. Just listen to this song. Just give me your real reaction.
Yep.
And try to get it as authentic as possible. And that was it. That was the real one.
Yeah.
It was great. Worked out.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, Can we hear a little bit of I Love My Truck?
You sure can. Let me dive into this.
I'm going to hold this here, and then the guitar should get on
You
this.
want to hear verse, chorus, or the full thing?
Full thing. Heck.
She got a body on her man, she cleans up nice. If I can get her hot, she'll go all night. Well, she's had a little work done there in the back. The front's all natural, I like it like that. Man, you ought to see her when she gets fueled up. She left a lot of men standing there in the dust. She'll give me that quick with a little bit of luck. What? I love my truck. She's a 98 made in the USA. I like running my hands up and down her frame. She don't mind getting lost down an old back road. Man, I love hearing that engine moan. Man, you ought to see her when she gets fueled up. She left a lot of men standing there in the dust. She'll give me that quick with a little bit of luck. What? I love my truck. She'll drop a tailgate and back it up and get a little dirty in the mud. She likes it a little rough, man, she was built tough. She got a little diesel in her blood. Man, you ought to see her when she gets fueled up. She left a lot of men standing there in the dust. She'll give me that quick with a little bit of luck. What? I love my truck. I said, what? I love my truck.
Thomas Mack, this was awesome.
Dude, you've been
Thank
awesome,
you.
bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Now, this next artist, Lindsay Ell, has just skyrocketed in the last few years as well, but not just for her songwriting and vocals, but her guitar playing skills. I mean, she is a monster, and I'm so glad that we finally got her on the show. And I love that she wanted to join us live from CMA Fest. I'm excited for this interview, and I know you all will be too. Let's close the interview segment with Lindsay Ell here on the Music Universe podcast.
Hey everybody, Matt Bailey here with the Music Universe. I am here with the one, the only Lindsay Ell. How are you?
I'm so good, Matt. It's good to see you.
It is so good to see you. We were just talking as we were getting set up. How has Fest been for you?
Fest has been so good. It's been so busy. It's amazing to see everybody back together again. You know, it's been 3 years since a lot of us have seen each other, or I've seen a lot of fans. You know, it's amazing to be able to follow up with them and see they've gotten married and had babies, and like life things have happened of these like dear fans who I love so much. And some of them have gotten so much taller, of like kids that I remember like meeting here and now are here. And so it's awesome to see everybody.
Well, that is so cool that you remember your fans, and I think that is indicative of country music. Is you get to know your fans as almost like friends, because you'll remember them.
You really, really do. Yeah, it is definitely a country music family.
Are you doing a signing here, or have you done a signing here?
Yeah, we've done a bunch. I had like a big fan club party a few days ago, which was awesome, and then just did a couple of signings. So it's we've just been jumping into all the chaos. And
I know you've been doing a ton. Like I said, I just got back from Opry, so I'm not that versed on the schedule today. Have you performed yet?
It's all good. Yeah, we played Riverfront. We kind of were a part of the kickoff with Jimmy Allen and
very
Hardy
cool.
that day, and so
Yes.
had so much fun doing that kickoff. And I'll be at the stadium later, so it's gonna be a fun day, and it's been such a fun weekend. So
That is so exciting. Who are you most excited to see at the stadium tonight?
gosh, I mean, the lineup this whole weekend has been awesome. Like, you know, getting to see Keith do his thing. I mean, Eric Church is probably up there on my list to see tonight. So I can't wait.
I love it. So let's talk music. What have you been working on? What's coming out soon? Anything?
Yeah, I just released a brand new song called Right on Time. I wrote this song shortly after I turned 30. It felt like all my friends were checking all these life boxes, like getting married, having babies, doing all of these life things. And I felt like I was falling behind because I was like, I'm not close to doing any of these life things. And so I just wanted to write a song that reminded people that you are right where you need to be in your life, and you get to write your own story and your own timeline. You don't need to compare yourself to somebody else's just because you see their life on social media or friends and family or whatever it may be.
Well, that I'm glad you mentioned that, because our generation, I would think we're both millennials, you see people sort of hitting it big younger and younger and younger. You know, there's kids on TikTok who are like, gosh, I wish I had that kind of following when I was 18 years old.
Yeah. It's crazy. And you can like give yourself a lot of pressure comparing yourself to, you know, everybody else, but we're all on our own journey, you know, and there's so much that I've learned throughout my life to get me to this point that I wouldn't trade for anything.
I love it. I love it. Lindsay Ell, this was a pleasure. So cool to talk to you.
It's so good to talk to you. It's so good to see you.
One last quick question just popped in my head. Anytime I get a chance to talk to a Canadian, I always ask, you know, Canadian country music and American country music always sounds very similar, but I know there are differences. What is the main difference between Canadian and American country music to you?
You know, to me, it's just all about a song, you know, a song that connects to people. It's far less about where it's from necessarily, or even genre. Like I think that, gosh, if I were to really think of the differences between the country music up there and the country music down here, maybe sonically, like there's a sound that Nashville has with you know, the musicians and all the producers that live in this town that I've just immersed myself in, you know, living here the past 10 years. And so in Canada, it doesn't necessarily have that same like sort of Nashville sound, so to speak. It's maybe a little bit more organic or raw, depending on where you're from, which I think, you know, gives each country its distinct flair. But at the end of the day, I think it just really comes down to a song connecting to a fan of what makes it like so cool.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lindsay.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt.
Buddy, every time we get to do something here, it is always so special. I'm sorry you couldn't make it. You would have enjoyed it, but we would not have gotten the stuff up to do the live updates if you weren't sitting there working for hours and hours and hours to download, edit, get the logos in, put the intro, the outro, put everything in, get the stuff up, embedded into the site. So thank you. I wouldn't be able to do this if you weren't sitting there doing that. So thank you very much for everything this long weekend. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, it has. I miss not being able to go. In fact, I had a flight and, you know, things happen with cancellations and stuff. And it just absolutely worked out the way it did for the live updates the way they were. But I would have loved to have been there. I almost feel like I have been there, because you've been sending me all these updates, and of course all the tweets, all the social media shares on Instagram, and then of course the videos, and you've been calling me consistently. And we did this together. This was fun. Hopefully next year we'll both be able to be in person together and still be able to get the live updates up as quickly as possible. But I think you left no stone unturned there. I mean, I think there's a lot of great content and a lot of great action that you've been involved in, and here's to come.
You know, it was fine in the media room because it's just a dark booth. You know, I can handle that. It feels wrong to be back here without you. I will say that. I wish you were sitting in this chair over here right next to me. So I'll just talk to you and pretend you're over here. No.
Well, you're taking care of me in other ways for not being there, with sending me home some goodies. So that's fair enough.
Yeah. I said at the top, I got in, I took a picture of this, I sent it to him, he said, I want that. And it's just, I mean, you can make this at home, but it was on our table.
Right.
So I knew you'd want it. I knew I'd have to send that to you.
It doesn't have the Opry branding, but it doesn't need it. It was made by their people for us, and it's on their table. And I had to take it because I know you got a little bracelet. That's kind of your keepsake. I feel like that sign would be mine because they created something I created, you know.
It's a black wristband, which I guess means backstage. It just says Sunday Morning Country, 40 years of Sunday Morning Country, Grand Ole Opry House, Very cool. Very, very
Right
cool.
on.
Well, for the Music Universe podcast from Nashville, Tennessee, at the Grand Ole Opry House, I'm Matt.
And buddy, thanks for listening and watching, and be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share button, and be sure to follow us on social media at The Music Uni, and check us out at themusicuniverse.com for the latest news and more. Till next time, see you later. This episode of the Music Universe podcast is sponsored by Aroma Retail.
Both Buddy and I own and love their machines. I use their travel-sized diffuser, and it fills my whole apartment.
And Matt, their home unit can get your whole house smelling refreshed. And if you have a lot of pets like I do, you definitely need it. With some of your favorite fragrances from resort destinations around the world, there is definitely something for everyone.
Yeah, they have 90 fragrances available for diffusing as room and linen sprays. I know you might like that because the dogs and cats jump on the beds. There's candles and even wax melters. Those are fun.
Head over to aromaretail.com and use code MUSICUNI10 for 10% off your order.
And that is 10 on that 10. MUSICUNI10. Scent your space with Aroma Retail.